Welcome to the Old School Cannabis Project. Myself, Blue Skies, and Smoke Girl Rich. Today, we're going to take a look at a few clips which illustrate everything that's fucking wrong with cannabis and the industry today, which is dog shit strains being promoted by rappers who don't know anything about real cannabis. We got people like Snoop Dogg, who's put on a pedestal as some kind of cannabis guru, some cannabis hero, some big smoker, and no doubt he probably smokes a fair bit of what people would consider good. But anybody who follows this channel knows that cookies, gelato, anything of the last 15, 20 years is complete bullshit compared to the old school skunks, hazes, and heirlooms that I've brought back to the community with effects on another level entirely to the kind of stuff these people are smoking and popularizing amongst our youth, which unfortunately is driving the circle of shit cannabis. We've got people promoting it, kids wanting it, and dispensaries providing it. So we need to break that circle and re-educate the masses. So we're going to take a look through a few clips here today. To be honest, you know what I'm saying, fam, but this fucking young kind of scene in cannabis is cringe as fuck. I find it hard to sit through a lot of this shit to try and find content to react to because it's just so fucking cringe. But nevertheless, we've managed to find a few clips to look at. So let's take a look at this one where Chief Keef shot Snoop Dogg. Let's see what this shit's about.
Smoking a day?
I smoke 2 ounces. I smoke ounces, like 2 ounces a day.
But if you had to put it in a ratio of blunts, like see how I brought 4 blunts out here and we smoked one, and then I'm smoking another, that's 2.
So look, look. An ounce for me in blunts is like a whole pack of wood, so that's 5 blunts.
You smoke a whole fucking ounce with 5 blunts?
If I had my assistant here, he's supposed to came here. If I had him, I'd be able to show you right now.
Slow down, brother. You could get 10 out of that, man.
But I had 2 ounces.
I love it. I fucking love it. How many blunts do you smoke?
Okay, so this dude reckons he smokes 2 ounces a day. Is that legit? I don't know. Possibly 56 grams of biomass smoked every day. I don't know. Personally, I've smoked like 1 ounce in a day, probably is about the most I've tried smoking. I did once before going to Amsterdam, smoke an eighth of an hour every hour for 8 hours straight. I've done like 17 grams in 17 consecutive bong hits, but still a way off 56 grams per day. And I do not believe he would be smoking 56 grams of my old school skunk. No fucking way. So that's the challenge to any of these fucking rappers. They ain't going to be smoking 2 ounces of anything coming from my packs. But 2 ounces of cookies, quite possible, I suppose, because that shit, you can smoke a gram of that and you won't be feeling nothing 20 minutes later, in my experience. So if you're smoking 2 ounces a day, just because you're smoking 2 ounces of fucking shit with no fucking good effects, no long-lasting highs, no diverse effects, none of the day brightening, life enhancing, happy highs that last for hours, you're going to get smoking the old school. So, yeah, I bet you I'd smoke Snoop Dogg out, I'd smoke Chief Keef out, and none of them be smoking 2 ounces of my weed a day. What we got next, Rich?
Of course, the wedding cake, gelato. It's actually some weed I taste called Dosey Do.
Okay.
Yeah, I rock with it.
Least favorite strains of weed. What do you
All right, Lil Dick like shit. Next.
Yeah, he likes absolute dog shit, and he's acting like Dosey Do's
Lil
are very straight.
Lil Dick is basically exactly what we said. Prime example of a rapper promoting absolute garbage. Kids listening to that will then go out and seek out the absolute garbage, and that will be their experience to cannabis. Absolute fucking garbage.
We got Snoop one more time. Let's see what he has to say.
What's the number one smoke right now out here that you tasted? What's the name of it?
Diamond OG.
Diamond?
Yeah. All the OGs have been like, you know, it's always an OG strain, but Diamond OG is like remarkable.
Okay, because I had some Saints, I had some Reserve, I had some...
Private Reserve OG?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, Private Reserve OG, Larry's OG.
I had some Avengers. Nigga just gave me some Avengers.
Walters.
Yep.
Mars.
Yeah, Mars.
Mars OG, I think, is the best one I've had. I haven't had it again, but that was the best one.
And then I had some Blue Ivy, and then some Amy Winehouse.
Oh no, I don't know.
What the fuck is a Amy Winehouse, Blue?
Fuck knows, man. Some bullshit strain named after Amy Winehouse, I'm guessing. It's hard to keep up with the constant output of dog shit that's being put in the market these days, man. That's why not only do we need to go back to the old school, which has got all the effects I keep mentioning. It's so hard to communicate to people as well that cannabis has effects beyond what they've experienced, because how do you explain adequately a feeling to somebody? You know, it's something that has to be experienced for yourself. That's why you have to seek out the old school genetics. But to get to my point on this, where we've got every week, who knows how many just bullshit strains coming out that do not stand the test of time. We need to go back to the days where cannabis strains, varieties, cultivars, whatever you want to fucking call them, cannabis strains were created, and then they were around for maybe a decade at least or more. Not something that is just like a fly by night, here this week, gone next week, nobody remembers it, lost amongst the milieu of absolute dog shit that I keep complaining about. That's why Skunk is making a comeback, why the hazes that I've got are going to make a comeback. That's why they were sought after, because they were worth keeping. They were lost, but they were worth keeping, and people wanted them back. But this time around, I want to create a volume of work that lasts decades or longer, or lasts longer than myself, you know? But all these new, you know, this week's hype strain crossed to last week's hype strain, getting crossed to next week's hype strain, it's only resulting in absolute mediocrity. So my skunks are going to be popular with people in 50 years' time, because feeling good is not a fad, it's not a trend. It goes across the ages. Everybody who smokes my varieties loves them. Most people never been exposed to them, so it's like a new experience. But so many people won't go back to growing the garbage of this century that they were growing before they grew my genetics, you know? But yeah, these rappers are not doing anybody any favors. I hate to say they're not doing the kids any favors, because I don't really want to be promoting my work to fucking kids, but nonetheless, it is a fact. Cannabis is consumed by people of all ages, starting from relatively young people. And if young people are going to be exposed to cannabis, it's far better that they're exposed to cannabis with a broad spectrum of cannabinoids that will result in less paranoia being experienced and all the negative side effects that are traditionally promoted in the mainstream media as being associated with cannabis. All that kind of shit is gone, you know? My old school varieties, they're anti-anxiety, they don't produce any paranoia, they make people feel good, relaxed. Those on-edge feelings that's produced by high THC strains, they're just not really present with my stuff. Though occasionally in something like the Turktown tickets, you find some really wild haze. You might find something a bit too racy for you. But certainly the old school skunks, they're going to produce effects, even though they're going to test in a laboratory with perhaps a lot less THC than a hype strain. They will hit you harder in many ways, but by harder, I don't mean in some kind of paralyzing way. It's more potent in that it's got a longer duration of effect. Your body and your mind will be calmed, will be relaxed, will be feeling good, rather than just perhaps a racy head high or just a boring body high. You know, the old school strains, they've got a diversity of effects within one experience. You might start off a little sativa and end more indica. But my point is, it's a more connoisseur quality experience smoking the old school, where you're going to be higher for longer and you're going to be feeling better than if you smoked cookies, cross dosey dough, gelato, wedding cake, all this trash of today, you know. But I always feel like I'm just talking to a brick wall because it's something that can't be quantified, can't be verified until you actually do smoke some old school, you know?
You can't take a picture of it and like it shows you how high it's gonna fucking get you, you know, so it's a lot rougher. It's harder to compete with these people that literally just take advantage of the cannabis community, you know, and take advantage of people not knowing their shit. But
I can remember being young and thinking, well, if so and so is smoking, if that guy is smoking that, it must be the absolute shit, you know?
Yeah, even that,
this
or
guy
even
is a
just looking.
millionaire, he must have access to the best. That's what everyone thinks, especially when you're younger. I used to think that shit, you know?
Even just looking at a bud and seeing like, oh, this one has more crystals, it's probably gonna get me higher. Like, no, guys, it does not work like that. It really does not. You guys have to smoke different strains to actually figure this out.
People would not believe that right up until this moment where I'm speaking to you now, the most devastatingly potent cannabis I've ever smoked was some outdoor grown, almost entirely, if not completely, entirely devoid of any visible resin on the outside of the flower. And it was fucking insane. It was ESB haze from Old Timer One. Before I'd done my selections on it, before I'd made my own seeds of that, it was some ESB haze seeds that I'd obtained, and I'd taken some cuttings, gave them after I grew them out a little, gave them to a friend to put outside in his garden area. We had a little spot he could grow, and I left them with him. I went away for a week, and I came back, and he'd fucking cut it and dried it and passed me a bag. And I was like, fuck me, it's too early, I thought, to be cut. And it's dried it super quick. It looked trash, but there were these 6 or so purple buds in amongst all the green flowers. And I obviously smoked those or pulled out a bud of that first because it was standing out in the bag, obviously. And I'm telling you, man, I smoked that and it was just a purple bud, not dense, typical outdoor UK grown, it didn't look good whatsoever. And it had no visible resin content on it, but I smoked it and it was absolutely paralyzing. And I swear to you, I've never before or since experienced anything that strong. And it was the only time I've smoked cannabis, I thought this is too strong for cannabis. Like I only had those 6 buds and I was a fair bit younger and still naive enough to think, oh man, when this is grown indoors, this is going to be fucking unreal, you know? But no, that potency was never replicated again indoors. But yeah, anybody, especially these guys on the screen right now, would look at that weed and think it was absolute trash. Yet I'm telling you, it would fuck them up. It would make them lose the ability to speak for a good while. It would be real shut up juice. You cannot judge cannabis by appearance, I guess is the point, or by a test result.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's most people's experience, people who are experienced smokers, that all this modern day 30+% THC, it does not get you fractionally as high as an old school variety with perhaps under 20% THC content, but still containing a broad spectrum of other cannabinoids and terps.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know Amy Winehouse, man.
Get you a bar of that.
No, I ain't had that yet. That's heavy.
No.
Put me down.
What about marijuana?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on that. I've been on marijuana for a minute. That's a serious one. I smoked that in Vegas.
Girl Scout cookies?
Yep, I was just about to ask you about that. It's a lot of, it's fake now though.
Well, I know the
It
nigga
got
that
too,
got it.
it got too crazy. Everybody
Those niggas
say they
start
got it
rapping
now.
about it. And,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
make it
fucked
famous.
up.
I know the nigga that make it, the nigga that got the batch to the Girl Scout cookies, to the box, to the ingredients, to the motherfucking prescription, down
I don't know.
to the boiling of the water of it
I
all.
probably know the nigga. I probably know the nigga because I think I know the nigga.
He got a shop. He got a hell of a shop.
Yeah, that's my nigga. Yeah, it's all good. We know the nigga.
Yeah, we know the
all
same
right,
nigga. You hear
all
me?
Yeah, fuck Girl Scout cookies. The worst thing to happen to cannabis, bar autoflowers maybe. Girl Scout cookies, if you're listening to this, kids, is fucking dog shit. It should be consigned to history, forgot about, never revisited, just fucked off entirely. It's absolute garbage. Burner's a fucking clown. He's not smoking anything decent. Burner, Snoop Dogg, they are smoking mids compared to me and people who are growing my varieties. That is absolute fucking fact. And all you got to do to prove me wrong, which you can't, but prove yourself that what I say is correct, is buy a pack of Tip Town tickets, 120 US, shipped worldwide, 20 to 50 seats. Every single one will be unique and different and get you higher than fucking any of the garbage that's been talked about by these rappers in these clips we've just looked at. That's a fact.